G'day guys, welcome to Tommy Kendi Unfiltered. What a great day it is to be alive. I have an epic guest for you guys on this episode. I actually haven't done an episode in a couple of weeks. I've been a bit slack. And you know why? It's because I've been trying to get this chick on the podcast and I finally got her on. I have Cindy Cerecer on the podcast today. Cindy is basically, in a nutshell, she's like the queen of gut health. She's a queen of colonics, and as many of you know, me and my partner, we recently purchased and took over a colonic irrigation centre here in Melbourne, in Cheltenham, and we actually bought it from Cindy. And so Cindy set up this epic business, and she really is all around Australia. She is very well known for anything to do with gut health and colonic irrigation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Cindy Cerecer. Woo!
Woo! Thanks for that intro, Tommy. That was very humbling. Thank you very much.
How you going?
Yeah, really good, really good.
Where are you Are you at your clinic right now in Sunshine Coast?
Correct. Yes. So you purchasing my clinic enabled me to move up here and open another clinic up in the sunny coast. So yeah, we're up here on the Sunshine Coast.
Love it. What's your clinic called up there?
It's called Sunshine Holistic Health.
Love it. Sunshine Holistic Health. So guys, even before we talk about it and even before you hear all the wisdom that Cindy's going to teach us about gut health and colonic irrigation, if you're in the sunny coast, go see her at Sunshine Holistic Health and stick a tube up your butt.
Pretty much.
So, hey, Cindy, colonic irrigation, I reckon it's one of those things, the way I see it, where most people have heard about it, but they haven't actually done it, or they haven't, they've been too apprehensive about it. And there's a lot of apprehensions about colonic irrigation because essentially you go in there and it's like you got to put something up your butt and water goes in your colon. And so a lot of people are like, do you know what? I'm happy not to do that. But why is it such an important part of our, I guess, health and well-being?
Yeah, so I think one of the reasons why people are a little bit scared of colonic irrigation is because there's so many different types of clinics, there's different types of equipment, there's different types of therapists and different training and things like that. So you never really know what you're going to get in a colon hydrotherapy clinic. Colon hydrotherapy has been around forever, like just for yonks, like since the dawn of time. And it has evolved over the years, and there's been different practitioners, like used to be done by doctors, then naturopaths kind of got into it. And then I guess of late in modern times, it's become its own sort of separate modality where, you become actually, there's such thing as a career of being a colon hydrotherapist, which is kind of cool. So it's such an important foundation for health because it has been around since the dawn of time. And since the dawn of time, there has been this understanding that the digestive system is the river of life. And this comes from Hippocrates, like in ancient Greek. He was one of the first physicians or doctors. And he said that the digestive system is the river of life. And once that river becomes stagnant, disease will start in the body. So it really, in my view anyway, I feel is the foundation for holistic wellness and holistic health. So like if you haven't cleaned your colon, you're kind of one step behind that path to holistic health. Like the colon needs to be cleaned, and that's a basic understanding of holistic medicine and holistic health since its inception.
Yeah. And so in terms of the clearing the colon, I always thought that when I go to have my coffee in the morning and do my morning poo, that clears out my colon. Is that not the case?
No. So, I mean, if you do poo every day or twice a day, that's really good. And that's kind of like, healthy and expected of the body. Like the body's job or the job of the colon or the digestive system is to eliminate waste. However, the type of lifestyles that we have, we are exposed to way more toxicity and stress than we used to be many, many, many years ago. So the body has to work even harder. And we can see signs of degeneration and slowing down in ourselves, things like, feeling tired or sluggish or not being able to do things that we used to do before, or feeling like you don't have the energy or the motivation, things that are, I guess, commonly known as life, getting sick, those sorts of things. Well, our bodies aren't actually designed to do those things. It just happens as a consequence of being tired and run down and exposed to too many toxins. So a way that we can kind of reverse that is through colon cleansing. So your regular poo is just your body trying to get rid of whatever it can. Colonics and colon cleansing is helping the body get rid of more than it usually would, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah. And so I learned this off you and the listeners of the Unfiltered podcast. I sometimes gravitate to certain people to learn things, and you've literally become like a mentor to me in this field. And I speak to you at least once or twice a week because, I get questions through the clinic and I'm like, Cindy, what does this mean? Oh my God, can we treat them? Can we not treat them? But one of the things when I did my training with you, to become a colon hydrotherapist, you said that when you do a poo, you're literally only getting rid of a really small fraction of what's actually in the colon. And you could be holding on to shit from when you were like a little kid. And that blew my mind.
Yeah. I mean, so when you do a poo, your poo's what's been in either your sigmoid colon or your rectum, which is the last part of the colon. And the colon's about as long as we are tall, so about 2 meters, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, depending on the person. So yeah, there's a whole heap of it in there. And then after the colon's what's called the small intestine. So ironically, the small intestine's actually longer than the large intestine. It's just that the diameter is smaller. But that's extra meters. Like that could be up to 8 meters of just more intestines. So yeah, there's plenty of space for our body to hold on to all sorts of different stuff. And yes, it can be really old. It can be like mucousy. It can be all sorts of stuff. And like we see that come out in colonics, and we also see that come out when people take products like the Ultimate Fiber or the 5-Point Detox. They're like, where did all this extra poo come from? And it's like, well, it was in your body. And it's really cool to see what comes out. That's one of my favorite things about colonics. Seeing all the stuff that the body's been holding on to. I got a call from a guy the other day. He actually, funnily enough, had diverticulitis. So that's a contraindication for colonics. So we're having a bit of a chat. And I was like, well, I can't put you on the colonic systems. However, we've got these products here. Maybe try some Ultimate Fiber. And he called me yesterday to buy more Ultimate Fiber. And he was he's like, get me heaps, because I'm going away soon. So he's like, I need enough to get me through Christmas. And he was like, you will not believe what's coming out. He's like, all this stuff is coming out. I'm like, yeah, it was in your body. And he's like, that's incredible. I've lost 4 kilos in 10 days. I'm like, yeah, it was in your colon.
Yeah. And isn't it funny because there's all these added benefits to when you do get onto the colonic journey and you do start the, hydrating the colon and basically emptying the contents of the colon. When you start doing that, then there's all these other benefits like weight loss. There's all these other, and not everyone experiences those, but the brain fog goes and, bloating goes down, and there's so many things that happen. And quite often I get calls where people are like, oh, I want to come. I'm like, oh, what's gravitating you to colon cleansing or colon irrigation? And they're like, oh, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. And I always say to them, I go, I mean, do you lose weight every time? Is that like a thing? Because I always say, look, just come in, do the thing. Ultimately, we're just clearing the contents of the bowel. And if you lose weight, then fucking hallelujah. But is that like a thing? Do you lose weight?
I mean, everyone's different. So, no, we cannot make the claim as colon hydrotherapists that colon hydrotherapy makes people lose weight, because the only thing that colon hydrotherapy or colonics, colonic irrigation, it's all the same thing. The only thing that it does is remove the contents of the colon. Like it gets poo out. That's what we're doing. But the knock-on effect of colon cleansing quite often, like this guy yesterday on the phone, and he didn't even do a colonic, but because he's cleansing his colon in a different way, he said that he usually like makes really poor food choices. He's like, I cannot believe, like, I don't want to eat shit right now. He said, we went out for dinner over the weekend and I usually get really, he says these exact words yesterday. He's a great example. He was like, usually get really excited because like I'm going to order like, you know, like a BLT or something real sloppy because we're out and about. And he's like, I was there and I didn't want it. He goes, I ordered a pumpkin salad. He goes, what the fuck's a pumpkin salad? He goes, I really enjoyed it. So like,
so good.
It was so good. And like, I've seen that happen over and over again with people. Like even one lady once, like she came in to the clinic to do some colon cleansing. She had some tummy issues or whatever. And she was like, don't you think I'm going to stop drinking coffee? And I was like, whoa, hold on. Like, you just get on, go in, put the tube up your butt. Don't worry about the coffee. Like everything's going to be fine. And then 5 sessions in, and she's a Greek, right? Because, you know, Greeks like their coffee. And she was like, she said, she rang and she's like, what have you done to me? I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, I made my coffee this morning. And she goes, I'm staring at it. And she goes, I couldn't drink it. Because it's looking at me, I'm looking at it. And I just didn't want it. My body was like, what are you going to do with that? And that's what I love, like the body just communicating with, I guess, the mind or us or whatever, and just moving itself into alignment because the waste or the poo or whatever you call it, the shit you didn't need is gone. And just seeing those effects. But yeah, of course, you're going to have to do more than one session to get that type of effect. Like you're going to have to be committed to the colon cleansing journey or process to start seeing those changes. Like, I mean, one session's great, but like, you know, losing weight or changing your food choices or the way you feel about life or the way you feel about your body, like that's not going to happen in one session. Like you do need to do a series of treatments.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the, we'll get onto that series of treatments because I think it's a really important point. But in terms of, I mean, the conversations that I've had, even with my best mates since I've taken over this and gotten deeper into, I guess, the colonic cleansing and irrigation, is a lot of my mates, male and female, they've both said, I've heard this a number of times, I don't want to break what's not broken. You know, so I don't want to like upset something in there that I don't have an issue with. And so I was exactly the same because I'm like, do you know what? Why? Because I poo regularly. I don't really have any gut issues. But then I realized that I do have gut issues. So what are some of the, I guess, what are some of the signs that can show up to show you that there is something going on that needs to be cleared in there?
Yeah, so I personally believe that everybody is constipated. Now, that's a really weird thing to say, and it's definitely not medically correct, but we are just so used to not being in optimum health. Like, it's just the world that we live in. Like, we've been taught that, like, okay is okay. And, yeah, sure, it's okay if you want it to be okay, but like you can feel better than you're actually feeling right now. And you don't know that until afterwards. And I didn't know that either. Like, you know, and I get it. And you probably felt the same. You're like, I'm good. You know, I work out, I do this, nothing's wrong. And I guess the message to those sorts of people is like, don't wait until something's wrong to start trying to look after your body. And that's what I see quite often, way too late. People come in and they're like, this is happening and that's happening and that's happening. I was like, well, we can't do colonics. Like, you're too far gone for colonics. You're straight. Go see your doctor and get a colonoscopy. Like, you know, colonics are for healthy people. They're not for sick people. Doctors and hospitals are for sick people. We're not doctors. We're not physicians. It is technically a medical device, and the clinics are registered as medical clinics. But colonics are for healthy people. Colonics are for people that want a clean colon and want to feel great. So I've never really had anyone say, oh, I regret doing that colonic because I feel more unhealthy now, ever. You know, I feel unhealthier than I did before I did the colonic, never. that just doesn't happen. Yeah.
I haven't heard that yet either. In the
Not.
6 months I've been involved in this thing, yeah, it's always.
I've been the 17 years I've been involved. I've never heard that either.
Yeah, but there's always something that you get out of it. It's a similar thing. I mean, I think it's a similar thing to yoga or meditation. There's always apprehensions like I'm not flexible enough, or I can't sit still, or I can't do this, I can't do that. And then you don't do it until you do it, and it's like, fuck, I don't know what it is, but I just feel better. You know, I went to this morning, I woke up a bit sluggish, went to a yoga class, came home, and I feel alive. My body's just like, fuck, thank you, Tommy, for taking me to yoga. I fucking love you. Now I'm going to look after you, you know? And I believe colonics are very similar, where you go in, and obviously it's not like a massage where you're lying down and you're enjoying yourself and whatever, because it's a process. You're getting rid of toxins. So I've been on the bed where I've got like full fucking goosebumps all over me, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm just emptying the bowels, but I've got like goosebumps on me, and I'm getting these little flutters in the eyes, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And you know, you're releasing some dark shit that doesn't need to be in your body. So in that sense, like when it comes to like, aside from colonics, when it comes to actual gut health, what's the first I guess telltale sign that you should do something about your gut health?
Feeling tired all the time, I think, would be the first one. Like, just if you just feel tired and sluggish and not feeling 100%, that would probably be my first, for me anyway. Like, if I'm feeling a little bit like, meh, or skipping a poo. As soon as I skip a poo, like, obviously it's a little bit different for me because I own a colon clinic, but like, if I skip a poo, like, I'm coming in, I'm booking myself in, or doing an enema at home. Like, there was a time where I didn't have a clinic, like the transitional period in between moving up here and selling you guys the clinic or whatever. I didn't have a clinic for a whole year. But as soon as I skipped a poo, or my poo wasn't quite right. Now, I mean, this is a weird thing to say because a lot of people don't even look at their poos, but when you do start, you don't even have to look at it. You kind of just feel it when it comes out. Like, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, gee, that was a real big one, or it came out easily, or things like that. As soon as it's a really small one or doesn't come out easily, or you feel like it could have been a little bit dry, that's a great time to do an enema or a colonic. And that's why, like, you guys sell enema kits, I sell enema kits. I think enema kits are like toothbrushes. Like, if you were lying in bed and your teeth felt all fuzzy, you'd get up and brush your teeth. Like, brush your teeth, yeah. And like, the bum's just the other end of the digestive tract. So like, if I went to the toilet and I felt like it was incomplete or it wasn't quite right, I'd brush my teeth. I'd do an enema, like, just to make sure that my gut health is on. Yeah. And what's the difference between an enema and a colonic irrigation session? So an enema, like, do you want me to show one? I got one hanging up there. Yeah, give us a look. Yeah. If you're on YouTube, guys, you can see this. If you're not, then suck eggs, because you're not going to see what Cindy's going to hold up. So this is an enema kit here, and it's like a little silicone bag that has a tube that you can put up your bum. So it's like pretty much like a DIY. It's a toothbrush for your bum, like, and so you can use them at home. And so you fill it up with water, pop a little tube up your bottom, and the idea is that you like hold the water in for like, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you can, and that will sort of soften things and loosen things, and then you go sit on the toilet and everything comes out. So it's like, these have been around forever, and like, they were used like medicinally or even medically to sort of get rid of fevers, high temperatures, like there's literally even references to Jesus giving people enemas, but that's another podcast. But anyway, so like, crazy, yeah, because that's in the actual. I remember you telling me the other day that that's in the actual one of the first sort of scriptures that were ever found. Like, colonics were actually in the scriptures. Correct. So colon cleansing was spoken about. So not like I don't know the direct Bible reference, but in the Essene Gospels of Peace, which it's the English translation of the Dead Sea Scrolls found in Israel, like legit, like Google it, like clear as day instructions on how to build an enema kit, and clear as day sort of recounts of a guy called Yeshua doing enemas on people, which he called internal baptisms. Like it's insane. It's fantastic. Like it's
Crazy.
really like if you want to go down the
Is Yeshua, is that Jesus?
Yeshua is a name that some people believe to be Jesus. Yes,
To be Jesus. Yeah. So wait, what is it? Essena?
Essene Gospels of Peace. So Essene Gospels of Peace. Yeah, I'll send you a link so you can chuck it on the YouTube or whatever. But
I'll chuck it.
Yeah, it's phenomenal stuff.
Yeah. And so this whole idea around gut health and the apprehensions, and I mean I know what apprehensions I had, but the main one I had is I just didn't want to stick a tube up my butt. And when I did, because I did colonics probably, I think the first one I did was maybe 15 years ago or something like that. And I remember I just did one here and there, but then when I met you in whenever it was, June or this year, you said before you take over the clinic, do 10 in 30 days. Yeah. And I was like, fuck off. There's not a chance I'm doing 10 colonics in 30 days. Like, no way, man. Like, that is like crazy stuff. And I did the 10 in 30. And, oh, man, yeah. I mean, I felt like one of the days I came home and the whites of my eyes were like glistening gold. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here? And it wasn't easy because I had to full commit to it, but it was an epic transformation in terms of my gut health. Yeah.
Yeah, the 10 and 30 is like, it's my favorite thing. I personally do them all the time. And if I'm going to do colonics, I do 10 and 30 because there's no point doing them if you're not going to do 10 in my mind. And I love guiding clients through the 10 and 30 process because there are some of those dicey sessions in there where you do get the goosebumps or like you just get the tubes just like black and you're just like, what the hell is happening? It's usually session 6 and 7 that you just like it's almost like the demons just evacuate. They're like, shit, man, we got to get out of here. There's too much water. And everything just keeps coming. So I love the 10 and 30. I tell everyone to do 10 and 30. If you really want to try colonics, do 10 and 30 because it's so much fun. And you walk away from a 10 and 30 going, I don't think I'm ever going to be the same again. Like something's happened, something's shifted, something's moved. Like I am a better version of myself now. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah. And that is the 10 and 30 is basically just to clarify is doing 10 colonics in 30 days. And it's a commitment. And I guess even financially, it's a bit of a commitment because you're like, do you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to invest in my gut health. I mean, it's true, but I think one of the key things, just like with anything else, whether it's yoga, meditation, when you do this sort of stuff, you really have to find a therapist that you trust and that you get along with.
Yeah.
And that's with you, like, I mean, I've met a bunch of therapists since I've been on this little journey, but there's how do you find a good therapist that you can trust, that you can, how do you do it? Because there's a lot of therapists out there that are just like, all right, come in, let's stick the tube up. All right, we'll see you in an hour. Oh, you got bloating. Oh, well, I can better next time, mate.
Well, there's a few ways you can find great therapists. One is going on the ICTA website, and I've listed every single therapist I've ever trained. So they're on there. You're on there, Tommy. And so that would be one way.
Thanks,
it's ICHTA.org. ICHTA, which stands for International Colon Hydrotherapy Training Academy. That's one way. But I'm not saying that therapists who haven't trained with me aren't good. Like, that's definitely not the case, because I run an association as well with a whole bunch of therapists that I haven't trained, and they're still amazing. So the way you need to do it is just meet a lot of therapists and talk to a lot of therapists, like shop around, call the clinics, check out their Instagram, see the vibe. Like, you know, like you can get a feel from a clinic from their website or their Instagram or how they chat to you on the phone. But really use your gut and your discernment, and absolutely because like as you said, you've had colonics before in a clinic or with a therapist that you were like, yeah, whatever, didn't really connect with. And you were like, yeah, it's okay. It's not amazing. Like, I did poo. I felt all right. Like, they didn't hurt me or anything, but like, you didn't get that kind of like X factor or that wow factor or that cleanse factor, whatever you want to call it. So really, like, take the time to talk to the therapist or the clinic. And if they don't take the time to talk to you, maybe take that as a sign that they're probably shit. Or get a recommendation from a friend who's done it, who loves it, or whatever. Like, just shop around. Like the same thing you do when you're buying anything, really. Read some reviews first. Like, the Google reviews are usually pretty good. But yeah, definitely shop around and get some advice.
Yeah. And in terms of what sort of people, I mean, I know there's lots of contraindications and whatnot. I mean, do we even go into that? Because ultimately we want to, it's not even worth going into about what sort of people shouldn't or can't get on the bed, because they've got other stuff. People that can't do colonics, like if you're
clinics can still help people.
The bowels and stuff like that.
Like, a good clinic will still like help you if you have contraindications, because they'll have some products in stock that will be useful. Like, mainly the Ultimate Fibre is a great one. Enema kits are great things. 5-point detox is fantastic. So most good colon clinics will have those on hand anyway, because you never really want to send someone away, particularly when they are like they need you the most, like, but you can't do a colonic. So, or they might even know really great therapists to refer you on to. And I'm not being colon hydrotherapist, but like people that can help in other ways. So yeah, there are contraindications, and we do take them very seriously, because, you know, I've never hurt anyone, and I plan on never doing it, because, you know, it's a huge responsibility to do the jobs that we do. So yeah, like, taking care of people is important.
Yeah. And do you know what? This is just more of a personal question. I find it. I haven't really. I mean, I'm active in the clinic, but I haven't really treated any people. One, because I just feel a bit awkward being a guy and being a dude, and it's like, do you know what? If I go, I think most people are, and this is not a sexist thing at all. It's just. I just find, and maybe I'm wrong, but do most people prefer to have a female therapist when they're in there? What's your vibe on
I
that?
can't speak for most people. However, I mean, you are correct in saying that colon hydrotherapy is an industry dominated predominantly by females. It's a bit like, I don't know if this is so sexist, but something like nursing or something like that. I think in people's heads they have an idea that it will be like some lovely old lady or whatever. But that said, like, I had trained some incredible male colon hydrotherapists, and I had the privilege of working with some incredible male colon hydrotherapists. So I don't think being a man, I mean, you think of how many male doctors and gynecologists and pediatricians and stuff are out there. So I don't think it's got anything to do with your gender or your sex, so to speak. It's more about like how you feel about it and how you hold yourself. I mean, you could say the same about yoga teaching, Tommy, if you really wanted to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah,
like.
True.
But you don't have a problem doing that,
true,
you know. So it's the personal thing. Yeah, and like some of the best colon hydrotherapists I've worked with are male. No, I don't think it's you just have to get your head around it and get confident with it, and it's how you hold yourself and I mean, like, to be honest, I think if you were the treating therapist, like you probably couldn't make as many jokes about sticking tubes up your ass as you do. Whereas like being the face of the clinic and not the guy that's there when the tube goes in the bum is probably, it enables you to have a bit more fun with it and make a few more jokes, which is good. It's really a good thing. Yeah. You could be the advocate, the head advocate for...
The advocate. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, look, because it's funny, but mates and just people in the wellness industry that know me that have been coming down to the clinic and trialing it out, they always text me beforehand. They're like, "It's not you that's going to actually be treating me, is it?" And I'm like, "No, don't worry, it's not." But and I love the fact that all the therapists we've got down there have been trained by you, because they're all, you can hear their passion, or your passion, come through them. And there's just so many people in this world, Cindy, that talk so highly of you. And I think it's just so important that you take that on board, because you're such a, you give your time so freely, and it really does help so many people.
Oh, thanks, Tommy. That's lovely to hear. Like that's really beautiful for you to say that. Oh, yeah, thank you.
Well, no, it's true. And so what I'm interested to see, why are you so passionate about fucking cleaning shit out of people's asses?
It's a bit weird, eh? Honestly, like, so that, I guess my passion has evolved over the years. Like, I became a colon hydrotherapist very young, because I couldn't afford to do colonics. Like, that's the absolute truth. I was a nutritionist. I'd just come back from living overseas and traveling the world. And like, I was like scant. Like, I was actually originally a teacher. And I was going to have to study more to get my overseas degrees, like ready to teach in Australia. And I must admit, with teaching, I kind of hit a bit of a wall, and I got a bit bored, and I thought, oh shit, if I have to study again, I'll study something else. And then, so I was studying nutrition. I knew colon cleansing was important. I loved it personally for me. This colonic thing was great, but I just couldn't afford to do them because I was like 19. And so I thought, I'll become a colon hydrotherapist. That way I can work in a clinic and get free colonics. So that's how I started. And so, yes, colonics have been incredible for me and my health over the years. But, you know, as I've grown to sort of running my own clinic, to training people, helping them open clinics, helping people run clinics, and training more and more therapists, like, I honestly believe like it's like a soul connection with colon cleansing. Like, I'm just so, it's like in me, and I just see that the opportunities that have been put in front of me, like in my life, or that would have just come with such ease and flow. Like, I honestly believe it's just meant to be. And it's funny, when I learned that thing about like Yeshua cleansing colons, I was like, shit, like God wants me to do this. Like, God wants me to clean everyone's colon. So I'm down with that. I'm okay with that. Like, I've got a good relationship with the energy upstairs, and like if he or she or they or whatever want me to clean colons, I'm here to do it. And I just think it's such an amazing modality. Like, it helps so many people, and I've seen that over the years. Like, I've seen so many people transform with their, like, by cleansing their colon. Like, I can't stop. It's one of those things, like, can't stop, won't stop, must clean colons. And like, I honestly feel that way. Like, I'm just like, how can we clean more colons today? Like, it's a thing. Like, it's become a bit of a obsession's not the right word, but like, it is just part of me now, and I can't stop. Like, I can't stop.
Your sort of career has now moved into like spreading the love on a bigger scale about colon cleansing. Yeah, it's like, what are you up to? Like, how are you spreading the love?
So right now, I run a training academy. So I've run that for years, but it's gaining a lot more momentum, which is great. Like, more people are like, I want to be a colon hydrotherapist. I want to open a colon clinic. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, you know, everyone's like catching my disease, so to speak, which I think is amazing. So yeah, a lot of people wanting to open colon clinics at the moment. So I'm helping a lot of people out with that. And then so my goal because we're primarily an unregulated industry, and that it's advantageous in some ways, and it has a lot of setbacks in other ways. So at some point in time, there will come a time to regulate the colon hydrotherapy industry and put procedures and protocols in place. So I run an association with a whole bunch of therapists in it, and we try to standardize and come up with procedures and protocols and techniques to put in place to have a sort of a gold standard of clinic. So, people can feel confident saying, well, if I'm going to a clinic that's a member of this association, that certain things will be in place there to make sure that, things are safe and things are done properly, or things are clean. Like little things like that, sanitization and training for therapists. Like there's a lot of clinics out there that don't have qualified therapists and don't see the importance of it in the way that I do. Like I think if it's your career, if it's a modality, training and capacitation is paramount, and good training, and support. When I started out in the industry, there was no support whatsoever for colon hydrotherapists. And I think that's another reason why I'm so passionate about providing that for new clinics. I want more clinics. I want more people to cleanse colons. As I said, I feel like it's like brushing your teeth. Everyone should do it. I see us a bit like dentists, but for the other end. And so if we could somehow get that across, that this is just, it's normal. It's a normal part of health. That would be amazing. So that's kind of what's in the mix there for me. And I've got my own clinic that I've just opened up here. It will come a time pretty soon where I'll put some staff in there as well, which is great. And we'll just see where it all goes. But yeah, just one step at a time, one bumhole at a time, or just one client at a time. That's what we're sort of doing at the moment. That's all you can do, just one foot in front of the other. And the digestive system is all about how we sort of flow with life. And I feel like for me, with my journey with colon cleansing, the more I've cleansed my own colon or helped other people cleanse theirs, the more I've just kind of chilled out and relaxed into the flow of life and just take things one day at a time and not stress so much, not worry so much, just kind of one foot in front of the other, and that's important. And that's what good digestion is. And on a metaphysical level, that's what we're doing. We're getting people's guts right. So we're all back into the flow of life and the way things should be, just nice and easy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. And so if anyone's listening right now, where after listening to this chat with you and me, where they're like, you know what, I've heard about Colonics, and I'm after listening to Tommy and Sydney yap on about how good it is and whatnot, I'm going to give this a go. Is it what's the thing that's going to get people over the line to get them into a clinic?
Well, that's a personal question. I don't know. Everyone, I teach this to therapists when I train them. Everyone has we call it a pain point. Not really like that word, but it's that thing that is bothering you enough to get you to go pay money to shove a tube up your ass. It's weird. So there must be, usually people have something, a reason, and it doesn't have to be a huge physical pain, but it could be just really wanting to get your gut right because you feel like you don't have enough energy to do the things that you want to do with your life. It can be an emotional or a mental block. So yeah, I guess that they've got something niggling away at them, and then they see the potential for colonics to perhaps unlock something for them that helps them move through that situation. For me, 10 packs have always helped me unlock things. When things aren't going right or I can't get my head around something, I go in with that intention of my pain point or my niggly bit, that thing I just want to nail. And I go and I do a 10-pack, and by the end of it, 99.9999 times out of 100, I have my resolution, and that's why I love my tenders. I just love a 10-pack. Everyone needs one. Everyone
10 and 30.
10 and 30. Let's do it, Tommy. 10 and 30.
10 and 30. I know. No, well, do you know what? I'm due for a 10 and 30, so
we all are, Tommy. We all are.
I'm doing. Yeah. I'm in. I'm going to start mine this weekend.
You're going to do another 10 and 30. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good.
Yeah.
I've just finished
Done.
one and I loved it.
So good, so good. All right, well, Cindy, it was such an honour to have you on, and I reckon there's so much more I want to, we could talk about, but I reckon I just wanted to get the initial people over that initial hump. And I think I believe it was such an informative chat, and ultimately at the end of the day, it's an important part of our life to get our gut right. And even when we think our gut's right, it's probably not. So, get yourself off to a clinic, whether, it's with my one, Cindy's one is Sunshine Coast, or if neither of those, go look up look into Colonics a little bit more. And I don't know, any last words of wisdom, Miss Cindy Cerecer, the queen of Colonics?
Oh yeah, there was one thing I was thinking about when you were talking, how growth really is outside of our comfort zones. And a lot of times for people, the idea of doing colonics is really uncomfortable. So the likelihood that you'll get some growth out of it is probably really high. So I think bear that in mind, thinking, oh God, I feel a bit weird about it, or it's embarrassing to talk about my poo. And with our clinics as well, it's pretty straightforward. The types of colonic systems that Tommy and I use, we use open gravity fed systems. So super private, you cover it up the whole time, nobody sees your bits, the tube's tiny, really it's a very comfortable and dignified introduction to colon cleansing coming into either my clinic or Tommy's clinic. It's easy, we'll get you across the line. But yeah, absolutely happy to come back and answer questions or do whatever needs to be done, anything to get the word out about cleaning more colons. I'm here. You tell me when, I'll make time.
Love it, Cindy. Well, yeah, guys, if you've got any questions about the colon or colon irrigation or anything to do with gut health, by all means, write in. I'm going to put all of Cindy or all Cindy's details on not her number or anything, but I'll get her. Well, maybe I'll put
the number there. I don't mind. I don't mind taking calls. I just don't care. I could talk shit all day, Tommy. You know me.
Oh, 100%. So, yeah, I'll put Cindy's details in the notes in the podcast. But other than that, so cool to chat to you. And I reckon we'll even get you back and get you some answers to some of those questions that people write in. But, yeah, guys, please put your hands together wherever you are, whether you're walking in the car or just you might even be lying on a colonic bed listening to this. Put your hands together
actually.
For Cindy Cerecer. You.
Thanks very much, Tommy. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, love your guts. And we'll get her back on. But all the notes will be in the podcast notes. Thank you guys for sharing space with us at the Unfiltered podcast again. And this is your host, Tommy Kendi, logging off till next week. See you later. Bye, Cindy.
See ya, Tommy.
You meant to say bye. Come on. Yeah.
Bye. I said see ya. See you later.
Bye, Cindy.
Bye, Tommy.
Okay, bye. See you guys.
See ya.